Light Yagami is the main protagonist of Death Note. After discovering the Death Note, he decides to use it to rid the world of criminals. His killings are eventually labeled by the people living in Japan as the work of Kira, and that's where L, who is a world-renowned detective, takes on the challenge of Kira. And he eventually proves that Kira isn't actually a coincidence of killings, and it's actually being coordinated by one specific person or multiple. And eventually L becomes suspicious of Light, and it makes it his goal to prove that Light is Kira. But what if we swapped L with Lelouch, the main protagonist of Code Geass? Light and Lelouch are both on a quest to uncover the other's identity and take them out. But which one has the support, tools, and wits to actually do this? Some quick points are Light's power allow him to kill anyone remotely with the face and name, or just a face if Misa is present. And Lelouch's power allows him to command anyone to do anything, but he has to be physically present and making eye contact with them. But since we're using Misa, C2, who is Lelouch's ally, is immortal. So if Light tries to kill C2, it won't work, no matter what. So what happens when we put two of the most intellectual minds in all of anime, go head to head, and we'll be breaking this down into rounds. And round 1 will be manipulation. Lelouch is one of the best manipulators in anime. When it comes to debating and negotiating, he actually shows incredible intelligence. A lot of this is shown throughout his speeches, where he can change public opinion and get them to support him wholeheartedly. He's also shown to have really good psychological intelligence with the ability of being aware of his emotional states. He also self-reflects a lot and analyzes his own emotions throughout the show a lot. He's able to manipulate his entire crew and supporters to believe that he has a different agenda than what he truly has, and has literally manipulated an entire rebellion in just a few seconds of tapping into the communications. So Lelouch is really incredible when it comes to these things. However, Light Yagami is pretty similar. Light is able to create a situation on the spot so that the person that he's in contact with will react in a certain way that he wants him to. Like, for example, when he comes across Naomi Misora, he's able to manipulate her to give up her alias. And keep in mind, this is a world where people don't usually give up their real name. He's using actual psychological techniques to get her name. And he's actually a master of psychological intelligence, which is the ability to understand the needs and motives of those around him, strengthen his overall influence. He's even able to trick L on multiple occasions. And he even lets L know that Light has access to classified police files so that L will be suspicious of the police. And not only suspicious of Light, but suspicious of the police of L. And that made L reveal himself to Light, which even L thinks is a humiliating loss for him. He was even able to manipulate a god of death to kill the world's greatest detective, which Light has been able to manipulate, who only have suspicions of him being Kira. Light understands the emotions and feelings of others, which he uses to his advantage. And just like Lelouch, he's also really good at psychological intelligence. And we even see multiple times when L is trying to test him, he always keeps his own feelings and emotions in check. And he completely understands himself. And this is not to exclude his exceptional acting ability. And these are just a few of the things that Light has going on for himself. So I think this is round 1 to Light. So on to the next round. Strategic intelligence. Light Yagami has some of the best strategic plans I've ever seen in anime. Seeing as though he set his handle from a door in a specific position and had pencil lead in his hinges so that he can tell when L or the police agents have been in his room. The entire potato chip scene. Basically, this is where his room was rigged with 65 cameras, where he was being personally watched by the greatest detective in the world, L. The biggest flaw with this scene is actually, what if, like, Sayu or something just grabbed a bag of chips? Like, it's really a flawed plan. Like, I don't know how he thought it was a great idea, but it ended up working in the long run, so I guess it's fine, so whatever. L is a master at telling the changes in demeanor or intentions. He never noticed that Light was killing criminals in the potato chip bag while he was studying for the biggest entrance exam in all of Japan, all at the exact same time. Entire bus hijacking scene where Ryuk tells Light that an FBI agent is tailing him. So then Light arranges the entire bus jacking, complete with a psychotic criminal holding the entire bus at gunpoint. This allows Light to get Ray Pember's name by tricking him into giving him his actual name, by proving he isn't one of the hijackers on the bus, and eventually gets the name and just kills him. I'm assuming all of you have seen the scene where he is able to get the piece of the notebook. And even at the end of the show, he's able to formulate a plan to get Mikami to keep the real notebook and write everyone's name down in the warehouse. He made it so that Nier would believe that he had the real notebook when in reality Light did. The only reason this failed was because of Mikami's retarded decision to kill Takeda and break the daily routine and disobey Light's direct order not to kill him. And if Mikami would have listened to Light, then all three would have lost to Light. Nier, Mello, and L would have actually just won the series as a whole. No one to stand up to him, just ending the series right there. However, Lelouch is best at strategy. Lelouch was actually able to create a plan to outsmart someone who could literally read his mind, using the Gios to actually kind of blur his actual plan. And he actually has a very high battle IQ despite being a student, and has used a bunch of combat tactics efficiently despite being heavily outnumbered. He can even create miracles out of the most impossible circumstances. If Lelouch didn't actually think ahead, then Area 11 would have been the most impossible place to obtain. Him being careful and his ability to think multiple steps ahead is what makes him a successful manipulator, and it's what makes him hard to capture. With all of Lelouch's charm, he's able to do what Japanese army prisons can't. Operating in absolute defense territory of Shinkiro, all of it requires a complex calculation that even he can't perform, which looks almost too easy for Lelouch. He was able to effortlessly help millions of people legally escape by making everyone a part of himself. All of his overall plans are flawless. So overall, I think this is a very close round, but I think the winner of round 2 is Light Yagami. So on to the next round. Round 3. Leadership and psychological intelligence. Light is incredibly persuasive. He has charm. His acting ability has made it possible for him to manipulate even L, who at a young age was able to stop World War III. He's also able to manipulate Misa, Takeda, and so many more people, including the entire police task force. He also has incredible interpersonal intelligence, which I said before. He understands the human emotion, motives, and beliefs, which helps him out in the long run. This is actually one of his best traits, and he's able to read body language and use body language to get to his goals. And he can form a plan to manipulate someone perfectly. And as I said before, this is shown with Naomi Misora. And he also does this a lot with L. He also does this with messages as Kira. But Lelouch is best in leadership. Lelouch is actually the better one here in my opinion though. Because from the very first episode, he's able to command an entire rebel group to defeat an army. He's always gaining control. And he has the ability to work and control an organization of an entire country of people. He has won so many battles, and in the end, he fulfilled his goal. Lelouch has motivation to give to the entire world, and everyone's supporting his cause. Like, in his debate with his father, he knows people, he knows his own ambition, and he knows how to make it come true for everyone. And although he is a good leader, he isn't a perfect leader. And this is something that Jacob even said, that he never created some sort of legacy, and he was always secretive. He's way too young to see the flaws in what he does. Just something Light is also very bad at. Also fails to account for the thoughts of the actions of the people who are helping him. He believes that people will act as he will in that situation. Thinks that everyone should think like him. Like Mikami breaking his routine, allowing Nier to find the real notebook. Misa telling L of Shinigami and other stuff like that. Light is pretty persuasive, but him as a leader just isn't good. He always lets his guard down when people mess up, so this ends up revealing things that he doesn't want to have revealed to L or Nier. So this round definitely goes to Lelouch. On to the next round. Who takes the most precautions? Lelouch has a very high chance of winning this category, with him being a literal genius. He's able to make incredible plans and strategies with a lot of precision in such a short amount of time. He is inhumane when it comes to deduction. He's able to deduce certain things just from small little clues. Like he's able to think of 14 different possibilities of Mayo's identity, one of them being the actual right one. And it only happened from him hearing Mayo call C2's name. He was able to predict Lancelot's actions perfectly just by studying what they've done in the past and how they've handled things. He's able to predict an entire conversation before it happens and the exact questions that they'll ask, how they'll word it, and how much time it'll take to answer each question. And he's done that multiple times. He can even predict battles before they even happen, and the future. Light Yagami is also very good at this. Light can make a plan for literally any situation on the spot at the exact moment that it's happening. So it makes it seem like he's losing and he's doing stupid things on purpose to throw the person, which in this case it's L, off. Like when he let L know that he has classified police information, which allowed Light to see L when L came to the school with him, revealing L's face. He was able to make a plan to kill every FBI agent in Japan all at once. He was able to predict what would happen in the future even when he had his memories lost, making him and Misa innocent. who is the second Kira. And it's actually incredible how even after he wiped his own memory and Misa's, the notebook, out of every person on the planet it could have gone to, it went back to Light, and he knew it was going to do that. And he even said it all went according to plan. He's always able to stay a step ahead of L, and is the equivalent of 7 intelligence agencies put together. And he's always ahead of him, like on a lot of occasions actually. But even with all these Light feats, I still have to give the round to Lelouch, as this is an incredibly one-sided when you just look at the feats. And now that we understand how smart Light and Lelouch are, it's time to answer the question of the video. Could Lelouch solve the Kira case? Now Lelouch goes by a public masked identity known as Zero. He wears a mask in public, so killing him off the bat just isn't a question at all. It's not gonna happen, at least at the start. Right off the bat, Lelouch has a massive advantage in knowing that superpowers exist. Could easily guess that Kira has one, while Light has absolutely no reason to think Zero has one. And if he did, he only knows of the Death Note, a powerful and versatile tool that has strict rules, whereas the Geass can be whatever the individual happens to get. They both have people working for them and are both very smart, but are both prideful and fall for traps based on their ego. But given all this information, I still side with Lelouch. He just has the edge in knowledge, and he would know about Kira's power long before Light even knows about Zero. And this would allow him to make more informed decisions than Light. And since they can't kill Zero, and Zero is one, basically never alone, and two, has the Geass and he can protect himself, give him a lot of information on Kira's power. Lelouch can Geass people from different task forces and warship groups, and Light has no way of knowing about them, nor any special defense if they attack him. So the second Lelouch and Light come in contact, it would be finished. Lelouch's power is stronger, requires eye contact to work, so they can't not face each other. And even if Light finds out Zero's identity, Lelouch has many names. A lot of names. So it's going to take a while before he even successfully kills him. Lelouch has an army at his fingertips, while Kira only has his Death Note. And Misa! You could argue that Kira can just write everyone's name down as Death Note and they'll all die, but there's one major factor, Suzaku. Suzaku's name is really easy to find. Name is already declared dead, so technically even if Suzaku has a really famous name, Kira wouldn't go after him since he's dead. So it tips back into the favor of Lelouch. I place my bet on Lelouch, as even though he loves his family and friends, he really will only sacrifice for his sister. Sure, he'll make sure she won't get killed through a fake death or something. Also, Lelouch has faced dozens of enemies stronger than him, and came out alive and the winner. So in my opinion, Lelouch will win, but I'm curious to see what you guys think, so drop it down in the comments. I love to read them, and bye.